Hey guys, hope you're doing well today. So today we're going to be doing a best of 3 versus Colin. If you guys do not know who Colin is, otherwise known as TheBattleRoom, he's a very talented player in the Pokemon competitive scene, and he's also a good friend. So I basically asked him, I was like, hey, I'm trying to reach out to some content creators. I'm going to be battling them just, to kind of like get those battles up on YouTube so you guys can see a little bit more higher quality kind of battles. So we ended up battling Colin. So it's actually a very good set. I'm recording this after the fact, but it's a very good set, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys are kind of enjoying this kind of content and you guys would like to see something from me, make sure to let me know in the comments. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the previous videos we've been going through. I'm really focusing on kind of upping the quality, but you're going to see this whole best of 3 in its entirety, get my full thought process. There's going to be very limited editing just because I think it's going to be good for you guys to see kind of my full thought process throughout the video. So thank you guys again for all the support. If you guys do enjoy my content and you want to check me out somewhere else, I do stream on Twitch, and I do offer professional coaching where I can show you guys how to kind of play better or kind of understand a lot more nuanced things about the game that I kind of touch in this video. So thank you guys again, and I will see you later. Peace. Alright guys, so here we are for the battle versus Colin. If you guys don't know, Colin is a very good player. We're also friends too as well, so it's going to be fun to play him. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm going to try and be a little more focused in this game just because a big thing I value showing you guys is kind of a more focused, competitive kind of approach to this, especially with like when it comes to best of 3ing people, mostly because I think it's very valuable for you guys to see kind of more of a very like focused approach to the game. So I think it is going to be very beneficial. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. As I mentioned, Colin's a very good friend, and yeah, let's get into it. I'm really excited to play Colin. Literally like always good games when I play him, so it's gonna be fun. Let me quickly send him a good luck, have fun. Put on my music, make sure that's not playing. Okay, cool, that's not being shared. I was gonna be like, if that's being shared, that would be pretty bad, huh? All right, so we can open up the battle. Let's say GLHF in common Pokemon fashion. All right, so you guys can't see his screen. This is his screen. So he is running double genies, Finny, Entei, Metagross, and P2. So this is actually a very cool team. I haven't seen a team like this before, so it's actually going to be very fun to play against this. So obviously, like, the main things that we need to kind of address is that Thundurus. I mean, Charizard does look really good here, besides his, like, Finny and his Thundurus. I think it's very good in this matchup. Obviously, the Landorus is a little threatening, too, but I definitely think we can play around that. So, like, I definitely want to lead Charizard here, I think, to kind of put a little bit of pressure on Colin early and like potentially bait some attacks into it. I also think that running something, bringing the P2 is really good as like an endgame option. We just need to make sure we don't let the Entei get too out of hand. Also being able to answer the Thundurus is pretty valuable here. I don't think this is a game where we want to bring Kartana. I don't think it's good versus majority of these bonds besides Finny. So actually that may merit bringing it. Okay, yeah, I could see that. We definitely don't want Tyranitar here. That one I can guarantee is not coming. Maybe like Landorus, P2, and then Kartana, because Kartana actually does pressure the Mons pretty decently, and Landorus pressures the things we don't like dealing with. So I'll do that. I definitely think that's the correct play here. I think that we have a lot of pressure with our Landorus and our Charizard as a lead. Obviously the Thundurus itself is a little like threatening, but I definitely think we can play around that if we work around it well enough. So I think Kartana is also very good here. It's just we have to be very mindful of like what we have to deal with him, and like kind of taking advantage of it's kind of just taking advantage of the offensive pressure we have. So yeah, let's see. So what does he lead? I think he's gonna lead like, yeah, I'm actually not sure. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so he led double genies. This lead doesn't super surprise me. It was a pretty consistent lead back in like 2015 and like previous formats. Basically what this lead does is like it kind of gives him pressure with the Landorus to be able to go for stuff like Thunder Wave if he wants to. He can go for a bunch of different moves like that. Another thing too is the worth of noting is since HP Ice is out of the game, like our Landorus is actually really not pressured here. He doesn't really have much unless he's Defiant. Okay, so he's Defiant, so this kind of changes it up. So because he's Defiant, it actually changes how we approach this game. So normally like on lead you'd assume that this would be more of a prankster kind of set, or rather a prankster set. So like that actually does change how we approach this game. I do think that like going into P2 here goes relatively unpunished. He may max here. I wonder if he's going to just go for a lightning here expecting us to swap, because I wouldn't even be surprised to see that, considering like he knows we're good. He knows we're probably not going to just sit in and let him hit us. So I'm kind of almost willing to take the risk of like going for a Gmax Wildfire turn 1. It's a really risky play, and it is game 1, but I kind of want to risk it just to maybe try and put ourselves ahead. If we get lightning here, we probably just straight up lose. But I'm kind of willing to take the risk early on because I think that he's going to assume we're going to play more passively. So he may make a more passive play here. Also, Rock Slide is kind of good insurance because it'll let us Rock Slide if he, for some reason, he doesn't max here. So we'll see if he maxes. So he does max here. That is a little scary. I'm curious if he's going to still go for a lightning. If he goes for a lightning here, that's actually pretty problematic. If he does, I mean, that's a pretty bad, like, turn 1, to be honest. It wouldn't be great. It definitely would not be great. I think we may just lose turn 1 if he goes for a lightning. So we probably should have respected him a little bit more there. If he tries to read us, and he goes for anything else, we're fine. So, like, this is kind of a risky play. Like, basically what I'm saying here is, like, I know you're good, so you're probably not just going to, like, let me swap into something. But, like, at the same time, I don't have the greatest pivots in the back, so that may have just been his logic with that turn. So let's see what he does here. Also, if Charizard lives somehow, that could be really good, too. Rock Slide flinching his Landers, too, would also probably put us in a good spot, assuming that he's not Scarf. He is Scarf. Okay. So, one thing we know, he's Scarf Landers because it outspent our Landers, which is also Scarf. And that means that his Tornadus, it may end up going for a, or not Tornadus, the Thunders may end up going for a Lightning. If it goes for a Lightning here, we do need to be a little careful because that's kind of a really bad turn. We may honestly lose off of it. He's bringing in Metagross here, so I think he just Lightninged here to cover for his bases. Okay, Rock Slide comes out here, that's fine. That actually did a lot of damage. I'm pretty sure that's a crit. Is that crit? Yeah, that was a crit. Okay. Yeah, because I was like, that's a lot of damage to deal. So he is going to go for the lightning turn 1. So this is like a really bad turn 1. Basically, like what I was calling there is like, okay, you're not going to target my Zard, but like he did. So now we're kind of in a bad position because his Metagross is actually pretty problematic for us to deal with. But like, I definitely think there's still a way back in here potentially. It's definitely not great because like we took a risk and it didn't pay off. But I'm not sure if like we can bring that back. It is Life Orb too, which is really good knowledge because like what I was thinking too is if it wasn't Life Orb, like we may be able to live, but like yeah, we're definitely gonna have to play our way out of this. Also, the knowledge that he Scarf Landers kind of changes how this game plays, right? Because like we want to be able to deal with this Thundurus, and I don't think he really has any way to hit us substantially on the Landorus slot. I kind of want to just go for an Ice Beam, to be honest, so that we could get our Landers back out and go into our Kartana, because like Kartana can actually win this game as long as we're able to kill the Thundurus. The main concern here is like for some reason our P2 dies here, but like yeah, we may just lose. To be honest, I wouldn't be too surprised because like his double is actually very threatening with the Max Knuckle plus like Hammer Arm or whatever he has. So yeah, that's a lot of damage. So like this is fine because like now I know that he's more willing to go for like the straightforward plays, which will allow us to kind of adjust these next few games. So like that was a really risky turn 1 play and it wasn't rewarded, but like the benefit of if it went well would have been way better. So like it was kind of like a value judgment there of like, okay, which is more important to me? And like I misjudged the situation there, but I definitely don't think that it was like the worst play either. It was like, it's basically just like, are you willing to take this risk early on or not? And like I probably should have respected Colin a little bit more in that circumstance, but like yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So all right, let's see. I don't think he's in range of Rock Slide, which is problem. Like if we crit him, then we have a way back in, but like it's not a good thing to rely on. I mean, you obviously always play for your outs. Like you never like just are like, okay, game's over. But like it's probably over, which means I need to kind of think about how I'm going to adjust this game too, especially knowing that he's Defiant, because like that definitely changes how this entire game goes and how we approach it. So like he is bringing in his Landers here, which is totally valid because like basically his intention here is like, okay, I want to reduce the damage so that your Landers can't kill mine. And, like, he's probably potentially trying to let his Torn survive, or Thunder survive, but, like, he has the win anyways, as long as we don't crit. If we crit, it would be, like, a game, but, like, it's not really in our favor at all. Yeah, he's just going to Airstream. I actually didn't remember that, I didn't remember, actually, that the Thundurus got Airstream. I forgot about that because, it gets Fly, I think, which is something I didn't recognize. So that's actually a really cool set on his Thundurus. I wasn't really expecting that, to be honest. I was really expecting Prankster Thundurus, but like this is good to know because it'll let us like kind of adjust in our next few games, or rather our next game. So, all right, let's see. I want to think. So like I'm just gonna take the time, not because like I need to, what's it called, like make a move. Like the game's over, but I wanna kind of think about my next like line of play. Okay. And the more time you get in between is just beneficial. Also, I kind of want to scout what he has in the back, so going for a Rock Slide here isn't that bad. I also want to see if it's a speed tie between our Landuruses while we're doing this. Okay. It's Life Orb, and it also has Max Airstream. So he has full coverage on his Thundurus. I'm pretty much convinced that he's going to have I'm pretty much convinced that he's gonna protect as his last slot. I mean, I guess we'll see on this turn. If he reveals it, then we know. He goes for a fly here. Okay, so that's like a very smart play, because basically what he's trying to do here is he's trying to guarantee that he doesn't reveal any info. However, if we like flinches Metagross, we'll get to like, if we flinches Metagross and kill his Thundurus, then we get to see like what's in the back besides Landers. Unless he brings in Landers again, then it's different. But yeah, Metagross is a very strong option in this format, so I actually hella respect that bring, because like Metagross is something I've wanted to use, and I think it's a very consistent mon in general. So yeah, he just straight up gets the kill here. So like, obviously, like he was Defiant boosted, so that was kind of likely. So that means we need to adjust to more so respect the Thundurus, because I think the Thundurus was a big problem here. And like, that's the main problem for the team in general. So like, it's going to lead to an adjustment of like how we kind of approach the lead. Because like, he led Thundurus and Landorus the first time. So like, that means we're going to have to kind of adjust a little bit to that. I think P2 in the lead is actually pretty beneficial here, because it allows us to pin both of those mons a little bit more reliably than like our Charizard could, because Charizard was very pressured. I almost would like to bring Tyranitar if like he brought the same stuff, but the problem is that like there's also some things that could definitely be problematic for him to bring. So like Metagross, for example, like we don't know how our T-Tar and like our T-Tar and the Metagross matchup. I definitely want to lead P2 this time. P2 offers a lot more pressure on Landorus, which I appreciate. Wait, oh, hold on. My controller. I have to keep my controller above, else it doesn't like process properly, I guess, or whatever. He does have a Thunder, so I do have to respect that, right? Like, I need to be able to beat this Metagross, and like that's something that I really need to be aware of. Like, I cannot just let him do whatever he wants. It'll be a huge problem, and it'll like definitely backfire. So I'm thinking of going with a more slower mode this time, and the reason why is because his team in general, like, yes, he has a Finny, but like we can pressure his Thundurus a little bit better there. Also, it does just give us like a way to kind of like heal up pretty reliably. And like the Entei has 2 checks in Tyranitar and Finny. The only thing is like, do we want to disrespect his Metagross and bring Kartana, or do we want to respect his Metagross more and bring Charizard? Because Charizard's actually not bad versus some of these mons, but it's like, it's also not great if like, for example, it gets in a situation where it's dealing with a Finny that's like boosted, and like it means we have less answers for his Finny as well, so that's not super great. I'm kind of okay with taking Kartana here. It may be bad to not take the Charizard, but I'm kind of confident in like the ability to kind of like position around his Metagross, and then potentially in game 3 like he may lead differently. And if he leads differently this time, like I still think the lead's okay for what like we're trying to accomplish. Let's see. All right. He does. I hate that Expedition uniform, by the way. Completely unrelated, but I hate that Expedition uniform. All right. So we should get a special defense boost here, because Landers is primarily weaker on his special defense event, if I remember correctly. We'll see if he EV'd, because if he EV'd properly, I think that that's actually not something that comes into play. I wouldn't, because he's Scarf Lando, I don't think that a double would kill us. Or rather, I don't think he would superpower Knuckle. If he does, then we punish it, but like... we can punish it, rather. I almost want to max my P2, because like I feel like the max P2 would catch him off guard, and like also it would actually put a solid amount of pressure on his team. Like he doesn't actually have a way to break like opposing P2s, and I think that he may be inclined to go for like a superpower or something like that may put him in a poor position. And I kind of want to just pin his Thundy like really early, because like the Thundurus is actually kind of annoying to deal with, and he may even go for a fighting move into Tyranitar. So I kind of want to max this. The only downside to this is if he doesn't max and like he protects or something, or he like swaps out, then it's a waste of a turn. And like late game max Thundurus is actually kind of scary. Although I do think he's gonna max. I'm like 90% confident this Thundurus is maxing. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm kind of baiting out the fighting move into the Tyranitar if he goes for that. And if he doubles into the P2 here, it's actually not that much of a concern, because then I just max the P2 and I just like do a ton of damage to the Thundurus. It's not a particularly bulky mon, and based on how much damage it was doing, I think he evaded it more offensively. He also didn't max. So if he leaves his Thundurus exposed here, we could just straight up get the kill on him, which wouldn't even be that bad, to be honest. I'm curious to see how he reacts, because if he reacted to this well, it could actually be a very poor turn for us. Like we're taking a risk here, turn 1 maxing. You're basically saying like, okay, I know you're going to play risky, so like I'm going to kind of like kind of take that back. I'm curious to see what he's going to bring in, because if he brings in Metagross here, it could be problematic to deal with if it maxes. That being said, it doesn't really pressure our P2 as much. So he is going to bring in the Metagross. I kind of wish I had brought Zard now, but like we can definitely still play around this and like be fine. It's just more so about like respecting his different options. So he did just go for superpower. This is kind of a mid-ground play. He's basically saying like, okay, if your T-Tar goes for something like a superpower, I'm going to punish you for it. Or rather, if it goes for something like a Rock Slide, I'm going to punish you for it and kill it, while also not exchanging my like Thundurus in return if something like this happens. So the good thing is like we just straight up remove his Thundurus. I think if we can isolate his Metagross, we can win the game pretty comfortably, because his Metagross like won't be able to kill enough things quickly enough to be able to like win the game. So like basically right now it's kind of a race of like I need to capitalize off of this Dynamax fast enough to where like Metagross is not going to have enough momentum versus me in the late game. And like again, I know nothing about this Metagross besides the fact that it's clear body, so it could literally be running like plenty of sets that I wouldn't be aware of yet. He is bringing out Tapu Fini, so we do have Lightning here. I kind of am almost tempted to just like double target. I know Tapu Fini gets Swagger as well, which can be really threatening with Metagross. So that's definitely something to respect on his end. I think on our end, we did not bring Intimidate, did we? No, we did not. So if we can isolate his mons to the point where like we can just like get a bunch of kills, I think we're fine. So I'm just going to be really like hard gunning down like his other partner slot, because like the Metagross itself is what's annoying to deal with, right? So like as long as we can beat the Metagross, then we can win the game. If for some reason his Metagross outspeeds our Fini, now that wouldn't be good, but that would require like a decent amount of speed investment, which is going to tell us info for the future. Although that being said, that kind of assumes that you have a future, assuming like the turn goes well enough that you're still in the game, right? But like basically the goal is to get this Landorus in to where I can just remove it. So he is going for a Calm Mind here. So this is pretty decent because like we're going to get a free Moonblast into this, and it also confirms us that the set is not going to be Swagger. I don't know if it gets Swagger this gen. I completely forgot, but like I still think this is fine because we're going to get some solid damage into the Fini. I could have protected here, to be honest, but hopefully we had a drop here. I'd prefer a drop. We did not get a drop. So he's going to go for Max Quick here. So he's going to try and start buffing up his Fini, which I respect. I think it's a fair play. Our Fini's pretty bulky, so that's not really a concern too much. But we also need to respect his Metagross. The good thing is P2 can kind of sit in front of this Metagross, and I don't think he has Max Knuckle, because Max Knuckle isn't too common on Metagross in general. So, like, we're kind of in this balanced state where, like, I have a bit of pressure on him, but, like, it can also be turned around if, like, for some reason he makes a better play. So, like, this is still decent damage, and we're also setting Electric Terrain for ourselves. I do think he's going to protect his Tapu Fini this turn, which is something, like, you definitely need to be aware of and, like, respect. He has Citrus, right? That's Citrus, yep. So he has Citrus Berry as well. So we have the same Fini item. Honestly, Citrus Fini is like really good, so it doesn't really surprise me. I do think he's just going to attack and protect. It's pretty obvious for me to just Lightning into him again. And like another play he could make is go into his Landorus and go for a go into his Landorus thinking I wouldn't call it to just like get extra pressure with Earthquake. But like it doesn't really help him anyway, so I don't think he's gonna do that. I'm gonna Lightning into the Metagross here because I think he's just gonna protect and Max Quake my Fini. Which I think is a pretty like valid play on his end. And the reason why this is like fine is because he does protect. So like this is fine because now we're in a state where like his Dynamax wasn't really that bad for us. We're still fine, and like we're protecting our Fini from taking too much damage. And next turn what we can do is we can go for a Moonblast again into his Fini. So he's gonna go for Steel Spike here, probably into our Tapu Fini. We do take that fine. So this is like a pretty even game. P2 is definitely really threatening for his end, especially too because his Metagross, like even though it's threatening damage, it can't really break our P2 too reliably, it seems like. So we'll have to see what he does here. So Lightning goes into that. It does like some chunk of damage. It wasn't really with the intention of like like killing it or anything, but yeah. I think that he may try and swap out his Fini to try and like bait us. That being said, I don't know for sure. So I think a Muddy Water and a Thunderbolt would be kind of the mid-ground play, or a Muddy Water and a Recover. Recover would just prevent his meta from just straight up killing us if for some reason like he targets us, and Muddy Water would just punish a swap in the Landorus here. So like I think Recover here is safer, and going for Muddy Water here isn't that bad because like yeah, he's gonna go for Muddy Water himself. He's just trying to get damage off. We're gonna get some damage off with our Muddy Water, assuming like nothing bad happens. Our Fini lives, which is really good. The crit was really actually bad because our P2 may be in range of the Metagross now, which could actually like play a huge role in this game. The good thing is Kartana kind of puts a little bit of pressure on his meta, but like Steel Spike, if it kills us, that's actually pretty bad. Okay, we lived on 1. That was huge. So like if we died there, that was like really, really bad. So like I'm really glad we lived that, and I'm glad we recovered too, because like I don't think Thunderbolt was worth the exchange of like what happened there. Also the thing that like we need to keep in mind too is if our Tyranitar is actually faster than the if our Tyranitar is faster than his Mons. The thing is though is like his Finny is still stuck in here, which is kind of good for us. He will have to swap into Landers to kind of like capitalize off of like any sort of yeah, he has Scarf though. I wonder what he's gonna lock into with Scarf, to be honest, because what he locks into with Scarf could be kind of annoying for us. So yeah, we'll see. I think he may protect his Finny. It's kind of a weird call because like in a way we want to actually, doesn't Trick Room just beat him? I think if we get the Trick Room off, we beat him, because getting the Trick Room off allows the Tyranitar to like kind of run through the Metagross, assuming that it's slower. If it's not slower, it's a problem. So I kind of want to recover here, and I kind of want to go for a Sacred Sword. And like if he attacks with the Finny, that could be bad, but I think he's more likely to go into Landers, to be honest. So I think I'm gonna do that. I feel more comfortable doing that. I think like that's a better play. This could be a very close game because like in terms of board state, we're in a very even spot. If he makes the read and he goes for attack with his Finny, that could be really bad for us. He is in a position where he can take a greater risk. Like it's not as, but yeah, so he did do that. He basically took a greater risk here. We went for a Sacred Sword. We kind of valued the damage there. So he's probably gonna try and snipe our P2 based on that turn. He's gonna go for probably some kind of damage into the oh, he goes for Ice Punch in the Kartana. Okay, so that's like a neutral play from him. That's actually like not a bad board state for us because like our AV Kartana took that Finny attack pretty well. So like, and also 2 P2 getting recover off means that P2 is going to be like in a better position later on. Also, Hail Stopping is really good for our Kartana as well. So like our Kartana is in a pretty decent spot here. That also means that he probably has nothing that can hit our, I almost want to Ice Beam and go for a Leaf Blade into this. Because like he knows that I'm prioritizing his Metagross here. So I think that he may even try to protect the Metagross here to prevent it from taking damage and try and swap in Landers for free. He's in a tough spot here because if he gets it wrong and he swaps in Landers, like it's very bad for him. I could also just go for a neutral play, which is this Leaf Blade, the Tapu Fini for damage, and then go for a Thunderbolt into the Metagross. But I actually think that going for a Leaf Blade and Ice Beam into the Fini just covers more. If he protects it, it's a very good play. Okay, so this is really good because even though like yes, he's still in the position where he can Scarf and do damage. He has to pick a target here, and if he doesn't pick Kartana, he's in a bit of an awkward spot because like you want to Earthquake, right? But then like you also don't want to kill your own meta. So that's fine. Yeah, that's fine because our P2 like the only way it dies is if he superpowers us. So that's fine. We can just straight up Ice Beam into the oh, the freeze is huge. The freeze is actually really big. That means he can't protect. He may also just be willing to side Earthquake himself because of that turn. And like he would probably protect here if like that's what his concern was, but I think we're still in a phenomenal position. It's funny too because like we were able to bring it back even though his meta like was kind of annoying for us to deal with. And I think like now we're in a phenomenal spot. I'm trying to think of like a situation where like it wouldn't be great, but because he's Scarf Lando, he's kind of caught in a position where he has to pick a move, and like none of his moves are really like super optimal for him. I want to Ice Beam here just to remove him, and then Sacred Sword covers if he goes for like a superpower into the P2 because then you remove the Metagross. So like he's forced to pick one target next turn, and then you can just like target into it. We always Sacred Sword here. You always try and confirm the kill on the Metagross. Yeah, he goes for a superpower here. It's going to be into the P2, which doesn't surprise me. So it is going to be a bit closer. He may end up targeting with the superpower into the Tyranitar next turn, which we can call, or we can just kind of go for the safe play, which is just attack with both. Both of those can be good or bad situations, but because of the Beast Boost, I think we're fine to just go for a Leaf Blade Lash Out. And it should be able to confirm the kill on his Landers because he is going to be -2. So I think that's actually going to be okay. If we called it, that would be bonus, but like it doesn't really matter because I think we're in a position where like Kartana can just kind of clean up the Lando pretty comfortably. And like so can T-Tar. If he superpowers again, he's also like -2 on attack, so like he probably wouldn't even kill our Tyranitar anyways. So yeah, we're just gonna go for a Lash Out here into the Landorus. I'm not gonna go for a Rock Slide, it's too risky. And yeah, I'm just gonna go for that. So Leaf Blade should just be able to confirm the kill here. Superpower into the Kartana makes sense. He's kind of putting himself in a position though where like he kind of needs a crit to kill the Tyranitar. Assuming we don't kill. I think we may just kill him, but I'm not 100% sure. If he lives, he's gonna live on like red. All right, that's that. And he lives on red. Okay, so that was correct. So, I mean, at this point, it's literally just like as long as he doesn't crit me, we're fine because he's superpowered twice. And like our Tyranitar is pretty bulky, so like we should be able to take this fine. Even if he's adamant. Yeah, okay, cool. So that was like a really close game, dude. This set has been really good so far. Like from him rolling us, like we were able to adjust really well. And like I was aware of the fact that like his Landorus was like his Landorus was like only annoying if like it was put in a good position, but like we managed to get ourselves in a position where we were able to just bring it back. So I'm like super happy about how we played that one. But yeah, yeah, going into this next game, I'm kind of curious about how he's gonna adjust, because like the Genie lead worked well for him, but like I think because he didn't commit to the Thundurus or commit to the call, it was kind of a bad position, right? Because like he basically was like, I'm gonna superpower here. I'm gonna make a mid-ground play, right, to cover for more options. Like he expected me to risk my Tyranitar, which like I wasn't willing to do because of the first game. And like now going into this next game, it's a little more interesting because like I'm kind of back to a point where like maybe I do need to risk a play like that, you know. But yeah, that was a really good second game. I'm super happy with how the game went. I think that was a super cool game. And it was back and forth too. Like it wasn't guaranteed that I was gonna win until I made like a few plays that set me apart. And I think like doing that was just a really cool like highlight of like how good Colin is, you know, as well. So yeah, I really like the P2 lead. I think it does a really good job of like pinning a lot of his options. The Tyranitar is like an interesting option to bring here because it does pin his Thundurus pretty well, but it kind of forces him to go for a superpower if like he wants to be able to deal with it. Finny in the back was also really nice. I do kind of want to take Zard over the Kartana, although Kartana actually did put in a lot of work of pressuring his Finny as well. Like it's definitely between Tyranitar or Charizard, I think, for the last, because like Finny was really good there anyways for just getting chip and kind of sitting there, and then like the Charizard in general is just nice to pin the Metagross like later on in the game if we get it in for free or something, assuming we remove like the Thundy. I kind of want to lead Kartana this time because I think he's going to adjust anyways, and I think he may lead something like Finny to kind of address our more like passive lead. That being said, like if he leads something like Metagross 2, we can also adjust from there. I kind of want to bring this, but I kind of don't. Like Earthquake is also really good here for the Entei from our Landorus, but like it's also a bit awkward. T-Tar was also not bad here, but like it can be also awkward as well. I kind of feel okay bringing T-Tar almost. It's like weird, right? We can't let his Metagross get out of hand, but I think if we play it well enough, like it's not a concern. And also too, like I think he may expect the Zard adjustment. I'm not 100% sure, but like yeah, he may expect that kind of adjustment. But yeah, this has been a really good set so far. I think that like on lead matchup, it kind of depends. He may go for the same thing again. I don't want to lead Landorus ever to just like give him the free Defiant. Like it's just not good. So let Entei Thundurus this time. I think that's a really cool lead from him. I think like now he knows he has like pressure into my Kartana, which is like kind of nice for him. That being said, I think he's more likely to double our P2. Like we could just straight up go for a very obvious, like I think honestly a Trick Room may just be fine here. The only situation where that's bad is if like he calls it, which I don't think he would necessarily. He would have to go for like a superpower into our P2 and then go for like some other play. I kind of want to bring in T-Tar here, but I also kind of know that like we can't really let this Thundurus get rolling, so I'm like kind of tempted to just max my P2 again. But I think he's just trying to bait us with a very offensive lead that like looks scary and like not actually go for it. If he does go for it, it's really bad. But like I think he's more likely to go for a I think he's more likely to go for the Kartana slot than he is the P2 slot, because the P2 slot he knows that like I may just max it and straight up kill him. So I think he's going to be in a worse position for it. But we'll see if we got the call right. Because, like, if we got the call wrong, it actually could be kind of bad. Also, he may have called this. He may have called the Finny swap, too. Because he knows, like, he knows I like to bait out, like, shit, too. So it's, like, it makes sense. Okay, went for helping it. He may just go for the straight superpower into the P2, which would actually be kind of scary if it gets the kill. I'm actually not sure if that would get the kill. No, we live. Okay, yeah. So that's big. If we die there, that's really bad. But because we live, like, we're in a really good spot. The good thing is, too, is that since he's superpowered, he's not really in a position where he can, like... Yeah, he's not really in a position where he can kind of, like, capitalize off of his lead anymore. Like, he's caught, like, terribly out of position here, and we have a lot of pressure with our Finny. The one thing is that... Oh, wait, I didn't mean the Trick Room there. That would have been bad. I want to recover here, just get my health back, and I also want to just go for a Muddy Water. Another thing we could do is Calm Mind if we expect to protect. And our Finny could go kind of nuts. I actually don't even mind doing that. Like, I know there's a risk involved, but, like, I think he's more likely to try and reposition here and bring in Metagross. And, like, Calm Mind on Finny would just let us kind of capitalize on that and, like, offer a lot more pressure. The bad situation here is if he went for, like, a Wild Charge maybe into our Finny. If he goes for a Superpower again, it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't be concerned about that specifically. And, like, we have Tyranitar anyways, so I think our Finny can do a lot of good work here. His team doesn't seem to have, like, a great opposing Finny answer besides, like, his Thundurus. So, like, it also, too, like, he may be worried about preserving that Thundurus for our Finny. Like, he's probably thinking here, because, like, he knows that I can probably Calm Mind in his face, and, like, he's worried about that. But, like, at the same time, like, are you willing to risk, like, your Entei? So, apparently he is. So, like, another alternate play we could have made there was just go for a Muddy Water and go for a Recover, which would have been, like, kind of the mid-ground play. But I decided to take the play that was a little bit riskier, I guess. Although, it's still kind of low risk, because, like, I don't think he has a way to one-shot us in one turn. And he may just go for another Superpower. If he goes for a Wild Charge there, I wouldn't be too surprised. He does go for a Sacred Fire, so he's trying to get some damage into our P2. If he may double it. Okay, he goes for a U-turn. That's fine. So that's actually a really good turn for us because, like, nothing negative happened to us there. And, like, we can just recover off the damage. So I'm kind of curious to see what he does. In his, he may bring in Meta. I wouldn't be surprised to see Metagross come in. Okay, yeah. So he's basically going to play the hard Metagross game. He's going to be like, okay, I'm going to use Metagross. The good thing is here is that Finny actually has a ton of pressure. Like, Finny's pressure is actually, like, really insane here. I'm kind of tempted to go for a Trick Room to kind of reverse the speed tiers, but, like, I don't think him attacking in Trick Room with Metagross is as bad as, like, me attacking with my Finny in Trick Room. I also think that he may try and swap into his Tapu Fini to, like, bait something out from us, so I'm not, like, 100% sure. I kind of want to recover here. I kind of want to just go for a Max Geyser into his Metagross. Because it would be a substantial amount of damage. And, like, as soon as we get our Finny in a good spot versus his Thundurus, we'll be in a much better, like, position. I also think he's trying to bait a Max Geyser into the Entei, which could be problematic. Like, we always recover here, but it's more so about, like, okay, am I going to, like, make a play where I, like, kind of read your play? Or am I going to make a play that's, like, safer? I think the safer play is just to go into Metagross here. I could be calling something. Okay, so that's really good because he kept his Entei in. So, like, I'm completely content with, like, that turn. Because even if he Quakes here, a Helping Hand Quake wouldn't kill us. And he'd have to double into our P2 to, like, even have a chance of killing it, which I don't even think is, like, actually that likely. And he doesn't have any way to hit the Finny from what we've seen. Because I think he's Protect on the Metagross. So if he's Lightning, that could be a problem. That would be something actually concerning. But, like, if he doesn't have that, we're 100% okay. Let's see. Okay, I max my Finny. He maxes Metagross. So we're kind of, like, maxing at the same time, which isn't really that bad for us. My Finny does have a decent amount of pressure, and also my Kartana has decent pressure on, like, everything besides the Entei and the Thundurus, but, like, we don't know what's in the back yet. So, like, if he has a Finny, it's really good to protect the Kartana for now. He did protect his Entei, which is really good, so we just kind of called him out on that. We're, like, calling him out on a lot of his, like, turns, and, like, that's really beneficial. And, like, our Recover going first is also huge. So yeah, now we can kind of pressure his Entei and, like, just go for a Geyser into it to kind of do damage to it. If he goes for a Quake here, that's, like, kind of a neutral position for him. Yeah, he just goes for the Quake into the P2. I totally respect that play. I think it's, like, a pretty neutral play. I think he's just in an awkward spot because, like, he doesn't have anything to hit our Finny, and, like, he also wants to remove our P2, and, like, our P2 is, like, kind of the prize that we're, like, not letting him get because we just keep recovering up. So yeah, that comes out here. That's fine. That does, like, some damage. That's, like, not bad damage, to be honest. Any chip is valuable on Metagross, particularly because this team can, like, struggle with it when you don't bring Charizard. So, like, I'm fine with just going for another Recover here. I'm fine with going for a Geyser into the Entei. The Geyser into the Entei is going to be good if he's, like, not Sash. If he is Sash, then it's going to change the dynamic of, like, that turn a little bit. But, like, I still don't think it's that bad because, like, his Entei is not really doing much. And as soon as we remove the Entei, the Kartana is, like, just a little bit better as well. So it's weird because his Thunder still has a lot of pressure on us, like, in the back, like, even as a non-Maxmon, if, like, for some reason our Max expires. So we really need to make sure we're capitalizing off of these Trick Room turns. But, like, he may not have a Sash on the Entei, and then, like, his Entei just straight up dies and he has nothing to stop us, which wouldn't even be bad. Like, that would be good. What I also think is really cool about Colin's team is he has, like, Inner Focus and Clear Body, and, like, he's still running Defiant, which you wouldn't expect, right? Because normally, like, I guess it is just a better ability, but, like, yeah, it was definitely something that caught me off guard. I don't know why I expected the other one, but yeah, we just go for a Recover here. Quake comes out here. Okay. So he's just going for boost here. I don't blame him. I think that's actually a very good strategy. Like, he's still stalling out our Trick Room here, which we have to respect, right? Like, it's still a very valid thing to do because, like, you're still capitalizing off of, like, us wasting our Trick Room turns in a way. Although we do have Rain and we do have a +1 boost, so we may just straight up kill his Entei, which would be really bad for him. And he's not Sash. Okay, so he's not Sash. That's even better. That means we have so much pressure on his back. Because, like, even if he has Thundurus in the back, it's going to take so much to protect, even if he goes for, like, another Max Quake. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying this, by the way. Guys, make sure to leave in the comments who you'd like to see me best of 3 as well. Colin, as you guys know, is a very, like, talented player. So, like, I'm definitely, like, super, like, happy that I get to play him. So he is trying to preserve his, Thundurus. How many turns of Trick Room are left? That's like huge, knowing how many turns Trick Room are left. I think this may be our last turn or second to last turn. I think it's more so second to last, no? Okay, it's last turn, yeah. So yeah, he's just playing for the win con of like his Thundurus late game kind of runs through us, but like I still don't think he's in the most phenomenal spot. We could just go for an Ice Beam here and just snipe it immediately, to be honest, and then just go that. I just think that may be a little bit greedy. No, I'm gonna avoid being greedy here just because I don't want to lose to like, you know, greed. I think I'm in a really commanding spot here. Like I definitely think I'm in a really good spot here because I forced him to superpower me next turn unless he wants Trick Room back up, or like I could just go for an Ice Beam into his Thundurus and like kind of pin it that way. So yeah, recover comes out here. That's fine. We're just healing up. We're just gonna go for a Geyser into the Lander slot. So like what I could have done here was gone for something else, but like I'm not concerned about the Metagross. I'm concerned about the Thundurus in the back. Yeah, he's the problem is like with his Metagross is like it has no way to break the P2, so like the P2 can just kind of sit here. If he had Knuckle, it would be a bit of a different story, but I think we put ourselves in a much better spot. All right, Max Geyser comes out here. That's fine. We just straight up kill his Landers. Yeah, there's no way it was living that. So yeah, I'm like, this has been a really good like set. It's been like, I know it looks like I'm kind of like steamrolling a little bit with the Finny, but like this can definitely still be his game. Like this definitely isn't over. Especially due to the fact he has Iron Head. Like that could also be a problem. So he's gonna bring in his Thundurus though, so I definitely respect that. T-Tar in the back is also kind of good versus his Metagross. We still don't know the speed his Metagross is at, to be honest, which is a little weird. I'm kind of okay with swapping out my Finny into Kartana just to like bait out the Wild Charge maybe. And like if he goes for a superpower, it's not a big deal either. And I could just go for an Ice Beam because he does want our Finny dead. Like Finny's a problem. Also, we may just live. I wonder if it's worth the risk of like us just living and going for that. I'm kind of okay with it. I actually don't mind. I don't think it's huge like opportunity loss. Yeah, he's gonna go for a Wild Charge. I could have swapped into Kartana. We also live. Yeah. Okay, so we lived. So we should just have this game as long as we land Muddy, which is like really good. Okay, yeah, nice. We get the Citrus Berry. That doesn't really matter because he didn't go for a Bullet Punch. If he went for a Bullet Punch there, it could have potentially killed us. But like I already knew he didn't based on the first game. Okay, that's fine. As long as I kill Thundurus, I don't really care. Thundurus was the one that was like kind of threatening the rest of our team. Metagross just slowly gets whittled down by what we have in the back, so it's actually not that like bad. I'm curious how fast his Metagross is. Right, yep. Iron Head comes into P2. That's fine. It did like nothing. Basically, he's playing for the win con. You kill my Finny there, and then you go for a flinch on the P2. And if he gets a flinch on the P2, then he's able to win. If not, then like he just loses. So yeah, we just go for a Muddy Water here. As long as we land our Muddy, we should be fine. Yeah, we land it. So good games to Colin, dude. Though it's not over yet. He still lives. But like, yeah, basically good games. Because like now we're in a position where Kartana just kind of cleans up. He's going to go for Iron Head, probably clean up our Finny. Yep. But like now we get in our Tyranitar, so we can actually scout his speed tier as well. Like it's not relevant, but like it's just like if we wanted to know. It's just cool info to know, I guess. So I'll bring in my T-Tar just to like scout where he's at. I mean, cool info. All right, so we'll bring in our T-Tar here. We'll do that, and then we just go for a Lash Out, and we go for a Thunderbolt. I'm listening to like a bop right now, by the way. You guys can't hear it because I mean obviously game music, but like because YouTube. But like I'm listening to bop right now. All right, we just go for a Thunderbolt into the Metagross, and we go for a Lash Out into the Metagross, and we should be fine. I think he knows like his game's over. He may just be like playing it out, which is valid. I mean, it's it's a YouTube video, you know. But yeah, I'm curious to see who was faster. I think my Tyranitar's faster. I think it was like very slow Metagross, although I don't know for sure. We'll find out. Like I wonder why he's taking so long too. I wonder if he's like if he has some move up his sleeve, you know, some move that's gonna come out of nowhere and like make us miserable that we decide to play Pokemon, you know. A very, very sad moment. Okay, okay, so he is faster than our Tyranitar, which is very interesting. He doesn't have anything to hit it anyways. I was just like kind of curious about that. So it's kind of cool to see that. Very cool, very cool. That's dope, man. All right, so yeah, we do just get the kill with the Lash Out. That's dope. Awesome, man. Dude, that was a really cool game. Good games to Colin, dude. If you guys haven't already checked out Colin's channel on Twitch and like on YouTube, make sure to do it. He's super awesome, dude. Very good player. So, yeah, guys, I'm glad we were able to pull out the win, and I'll see you in the outro, guys, okay? Thank you for coming out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that set. That set was a really good set. It was super fun. Colin's, again, very talented player. Make sure to check him out at his channel, TheBattleRoom. I will probably have his links in the description as well. Super awesome guy. Definitely very talented player. So super lucky to get the chance to play him. and just kind of show you guys the set. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments who you guys would like to see me play against in the future, because I mean, there's obviously a ton of content creators and a ton of people that you can watch me battle, so it's good to know, you know, who you guys would want me to battle, and then I can kind of act on that. Also, again, guys, if you're interested, I do professional coaching. Those links will be in the description as well, and my Twitch channel will be in the description as well. So thank you guys again for all the support on the videos. I greatly appreciate it. The support has been amazing, and I will see you on the next video, guys. Peace.